6:37. Usually I say it's time to check back in with Mike Eppel, but this is the first time for this morning. A little sleepy on Friday, I hear.
Yeah, a little bit. Didn't have my microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're at home.
Home.
Had to go search for it. So yeah, we're all good to go now.
All good. All right.
Yeah, it's the hazards of the early morning shift, I suppose. Tammy, good morning. You know, this is going to be interesting with this rotating strike action that the union at Canada Post has called. Started at midnight tonight. Rotating strikes hitting 4 cities to start: Halifax, Victoria, Edmonton, and Windsor. Now they're saying the mail will still be delivered in those cities, but it's the timing on this is going to be very interesting, considering the union has been saying they want not just job security, but also the end to forced overtime, because as the growing popularity of online shopping, and we're getting into, of course, the upcoming holiday sales season, and lots of deliveries going on there, and now legalized cannabis being delivered through the Postal Service. This is all going to come to loggerheads in the contract negotiations. So it's something to watch here as Canada Post Union of Postal Workers started rotating strikes at midnight this morning. We have China's stock market coming off its best one-day performance in about 3 years. A rally of 4.25% for the benchmark in China overnight, as the government there pledged support not just for the equity markets, but for the economy, talking about cutting personal income taxes. That was a major surprise to analysts who have watched China's economy slow down a little bit to about 6.5% growth, which is still very sizable, comparably speaking. But at the same time, they want to spur on consumer spending. And to do that, they're talking about cutting the personal income tax rate. And that has, in turn, kicked off a wave of buying activity in the early Monday trade on markets elsewhere, through Europe and maybe even through the North American stock markets coming up today. We are talking about the cost of borrowing going up this week in this country, as the Bank of Canada sets interest rates on Wednesday, and market fully expecting another 0.25% interest rate hike. The question, what will be the guidance from the central bank? Do they take interest rates now on pause after one more interest rate increase, which would be the 5th in the past year and a half, which has certainly made mortgages a little bit more expensive? Anything on a variable rate will likely be more expensive before week's end. And a huge week coming up for earnings, specifically from the tech sector. We're getting into that particular component of the market with Amazon and Microsoft set to report this week. And those are going to be key. Consider how much money both those companies make. They have to live up to expectations and keep those stock prices going up. That's the latest from here. We'll send it back to the studio.
Well, Mike. First
Yes.
It was your earpiece on
I know,
Friday.
see,
Today
again, it
it's your
comes
Mike.
back to this whole thing about me being the nutty professor. Can't keep my head on straight sometimes.
Glue them to you somewhere. Yeah.
That's the problem. It was glued to me, sort of,
true.
at least to my belt. So.
Oh, we must fix this one.
We're
Always
figuring
nice to
it
talk
out.
to you. Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome.